Well, today I am going to be stripping the leaves off of these mophead hydrangeas. These are part of the Endless Summer series of hydrangeas. They're actually reblooming hydrangeas, but they don't bloom very reliably, which just means that you don't really get a lot of reblooming blooms, maybe just a handful. I think this year there were probably 2 or 3. So anyway, it is windy today. We woke up to 30 degrees, but it was saying it felt like 19 degrees, so it was pretty cold even though the temperature was higher. These leaves are going to be coming off at some point. Of course, the leaves will change more into the yellow color, and eventually when we hit winter, they'll probably fall off. But anyway, the reason I want to take these off is because the leaves do not look good at all. I always complain about these big leaf hydrangeas, these mobhead hydrangeas, because they always get these fungal spots on them. Although this year, I was impressed that I just started seeing these a lot of them right now. Maybe in the last month or so, but otherwise they have been really clean. I mean, not immaculate, and I did see spots here and there, but overall very clean compared to other years. I think mostly it's because it has been dry this year. Our summer was quite dry, so that really helped. And also the reason I want to strip these off is so that we could see the beautiful bloom heads still. The bloom heads are beautiful, but I feel like they're not standing out as well because of the damage or, unclean leaves. And also, so that we could see the junipers on the bottom there. So these are going to look like pom-poms. So these bloom heads are going to look like pom-poms. And then on the bottom, you'll have the junipers as the ground covers, and you'll be able to see them really well too. So they'll act more like, almost like leaves for the hydrangeas. Now, if you are a hydrangea expert, please let me know if I'm doing any damage to these hydrangeas. I did this last year too, and I really liked the look. Just to have the bloom heads without the leaves, without most of the leaves. I should say I'll keep the ones that still look good, but the ones that don't look good, we're just going to go ahead and take them out because they're not doing any good anyway for the plants. From what I have been taught or learned on the internet or by researching, is that these fungal spots, they're not good to be hanging around anyway because you're just going to be spreading more. But at the same time, there are spores everywhere already in the gardens, your garden, my garden. You don't have to do what I am doing right now. You can just let the leaves eventually fall off, and then you can clean the plants that way, or you can do what I am doing now, just getting a head start, because once we get rain and then cold and then rain then cold, there's, with the cycle repeating, they're just gonna look awful. They're just gonna turn dark, and some of them will be falling off, some of them will still stay on the plant, but they're not doing any good to the plant anyway. So I look at it as I would like the blooms to stand out. I would like the ground cover juniper junipers to stand out because this is kind of like going into their time. And then I think I'm doing the plant a good service by removing all these fungal spots from them. So enough talking, I will go ahead and put it on time lapse so you're not watching me slowly taking care of this. So just going to be removing all the affected leaves, leaving the bloom heads, even the ones that don't look as good, like this is brown, that's fine. It'll be a nice winter interest, and clean the bottom there with the fallen leaves that are already there, and just tidy up this whole area. So I will see you back later. It is finally done, and I'm excited to show you the finished product. I hope you can see that it looks so much better than before. There's just a lot of airiness and there's movement, especially when the wind is blowing on the bloom heads. Look at that. Before, you probably would have seen more of the leaves. You really couldn't tell, like the nice movement of the stems with the bloom heads. And also, look, now you can see the ground cover junipers so much better, right? Whereas before, it was kind of like an afterthought, or it wasn't a prominent feature, but now it stands out. The hydrangea blooms stand out. There are still some leaves there. These are the leaves that are not affected yet. I may have missed some, but overall, it just looks so much better. Look at this one, it's so flexible. Nice and cool. This one not so much because it's pretty much at the end of its life cycle. But yeah, look. Looks like I made some nice pom-poms to these hydrangea bloom heads. So as I was removing the leaves and then looking at everything at the end, it just reminded me of somebody getting a haircut, like getting a layered haircut. So now you see that there's no more movement to the plants, and it actually makes the plants look a lot like, kind of like more, there's more volume to the plant somehow. So anyway, I thought that was interesting, kind of like giving the plant a nice layer haircut. So basically what you can get from this video is that sometimes it's good to take a gardening risk. Just like I did here. Last year I did it just to see if I would like the look, and it turned out good. So I'm repeating it this year. And I don't want you to feel afraid that you can't take risks in the garden. The worst case that it could happen with these hydrangeas is that maybe the blooms are not going to be as big next year. From what I can tell, they have not been affected at all with what I did last year. And let's just say you accidentally cut off the stems with the buds. So you just won't get blooms for that stem, and you'll know better going forward. Now this is a reblooming hydrangea, so it might not be as affected by that. I haven't paid attention to it all that closely, but you know, you have all the other stems. So even if you made a mistake with one stem, it's not going to affect the whole entire plant. You'll still get blooms. Please don't feel like you have to do this at all. You can just do what you have been doing. Just let the leaves die back like they normally do and then fall off the plants. And then you can clean all the leaves off when that happens. Or you can do what I have been doing this year and then last year too. To make it not as tedious, you can remove affected leaves as you go along. So that way you're not having to remove a whole bunch at one time, which I know it can get pretty boring after a while. But this year, as mentioned, I didn't really see a lot to start off with. I did remove the leaves that I saw were affected. Most of the leaves were really good until recently. They kind of all got affected at the same time. And when I was removing the leaves, I noticed that some of them may not have been fungal infections. They could be, or it could just be due to something else, kind of like, you know, with the cooler weather, just kind of like all the other leaves that are in the garden right now. They do go through some changes and they may get affected with other things besides fungal infections. But the leaves were affected regardless of something, and they just did not make the leaves look really good, especially because the leaves are on the bigger size as well, so they are more noticeable. So please don't be afraid to take risks and challenge yourself with doing something that you normally don't do. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video, and again, I hope you found this video enjoyable and helpful, and until my next video, I hope you take care. Bye for now.